Hi, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, I want to provide you with a further update on the ongoing impact on the global economy of the war in Iran, because things have taken a significant turn for the worst. And this isn't just going to affect the global economy whilst the war is ongoing, it's going to have a long-lasting implication for at least the rest of 2026. In direct response to the USA's threat to hit Iranian infrastructure if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened, Iran has now successfully carried out 2 further strikes on energy infrastructure in the Gulf, including a petrochemical facility in Abu Dhabi, which has been forced to suspend operations after multiple fires, and the headquarters of Kuwait State Oil Company, which has been set on fire following a drone strike. And this is hugely significant because it shows very clearly that Iran is now directly targeting oil and gas infrastructure across the region, which is one of the most dangerous escalations that we've seen in any war, really. Iran has also warned that this is just the beginning and has threatened further, more destructive strikes, which raises the risk of ongoing disruption to global energy supplies. We'll also talk about why this escalation is happening. Donald Trump has set a new deadline for the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, which is unlikely to happen because Iran is unlikely to agree to that. And that means that we are likely to see further escalation, and rapid escalation at that. I'll also provide you with an update on the rescue of the US airman who was taken down when his F-15 was shot down, and the cost implications of that mission, because the numbers involved are very significant. But before we get into all of that, could I ask anybody that hasn't subscribed yet to please hit that subscriber button? It doesn't take you a second, and it really does help me with the algorithm and also puts a smile on my face. So let's start with these latest strikes, because this really is a turning point in the conflict. What Iran has demonstrated is that it is both willing and also able to strike high-value energy infrastructure outside of its own borders. Abu Dhabi is a major hub for petrochemicals and refined products, so shutting down part of that facility immediately impacts industrial supply chains. Kuwait is one of the world's key oil exporters, and targeting the headquarters of its national oil company is not just operational, it's symbolic. It's a message that nowhere in the region is safe from retaliation. And when you combine that with Iran's warning of more destructive strikes to come, it suggests this is not a one-off event. This is the start of a sustained campaign. Now, the reason why this is happening is actually quite straightforward. This is direct retaliation. The United States has made it very clear that it is prepared to target Iran's energy infrastructure, its electricity systems, and even its water and desalination facilities. And in response, Iran has effectively mirrored that strategy. If you target our economy, we will target yours and your allies. So what we're seeing is a shift into full-scale economic warfare, where the objective is not just military victory, but economic disruption. Now, this is a really important part of today's video, because when you look at the scale of what has already been damaged, it becomes clear just how serious this situation is. So far in this conflict, we have seen 7 major oil refineries hit by strikes, 6 gas facilities damaged, 2 oil fields targeted, 1 nuclear-related facility impacted, 3 aluminium plants damaged, and 8 ports and export terminals affected. And this is across multiple countries in the Gulf region, not just 1 or 2 isolated locations. In total, we are now looking at more than 40 major energy and industrial assets being hit across 9 different countries. So this is not contained, this is a regional energy system under pressure. And when you break that down further, we're seeing damage across the entire value chain: upstream, oil fields and production facilities; midstream, pipelines and transport infrastructure; downstream, refineries and petrochemical plants; and export infrastructure, including ports and liquefied natural gas terminals. And one of the most critical elements here is gas, because Qatar is one of the world's largest liquefied natural gas exporters in the world, and disruption to gas infrastructure has immediate consequences for Europe and Asia, and also global pricing. Now, the key point here is that this damage does not get fixed quickly. Energy infrastructure is incredibly complex, and when it's damaged, it requires full shutdowns, safety checks, specialist repairs and reports, and testing before restart. So even if this war ended tomorrow, which it won't, we would still be dealing with reduced output, supply shortages and export delays for weeks, months and potentially even longer. So the economic impact of what we're seeing now is already locked in. Now let's move to the political situation, because this is where things could escalate even further. Donald Trump has issued a new 48-hour deadline which expires on Monday the 6th of April. He's demanding that Iran immediately opens the Strait of Hormuz. And if that does not happen, which is unlikely, he's warned that the United States will rain fire on Iran, destroy key infrastructure, and effectively push Iran back to the Stone Age. That's what he's actually said. We've already seen escalation beginning, with US strikes destroying a newly constructed bridge in Iran. Now, in response, Iran has issued a clear warning that any further attacks will result in direct retaliation against US and allied targets across the region. So we now have a hard deadline, escalating rhetoric and active attacks already underway, which makes the next 24 to 48 hours absolutely critical. Now let's talk about the US airman rescue, because this is another important development. The pilot was successfully recovered. The pilot that was shot down in his F-16 has been successfully recovered. But the cost of doing that was extremely high. 2 F-15 fighter jets have been lost by the USA at an estimated cost of $90 million each. So that's $180 million worth of infrastructure gone as part of that mission. During the rescue mission to pick up the pilot that had been stranded in Iran, 2 aircraft that were used to extract the pilot were unable to restart and were therefore destroyed by US forces to prevent them falling into Iranian hands. They had an estimated value of around $150 million. And at least 1 and maybe 2 helicopters have also been lost during the operation. They were shot down at a cost of around $40 million each. So overall, we're looking at total estimated cost of that mission of somewhere between $300 and $400 million for one single rescue operation for one individual. Now, clearly, recovering that pilot was the priority from the USA's point of view. They didn't want him falling into Iranian hands and becoming a hostage. But this highlights something very important. The USA does not have full control over the skies in Iran, because if it did, these losses would not be happening. Now let's talk about the markets, because this is where we're likely to see the next major reaction. At the moment, the markets are partially closed due to the Easter break, so we haven't really seen the full impact of the latest developments. But when the markets reopen, it is highly likely that oil prices will move significantly above $110 per barrel, particularly if Donald Trump follows through on his threat to start attacking Iranian infrastructure. Gas prices will also increase further and other raw materials will follow suit. And once that starts feeding through, we begin to see real-world impacts in inflation, food prices, transport costs, manufacturing, and ultimately economic growth. So the overall summary of today's video is that the situation in Iran is continuing to deteriorate. Iran has now begun directly targeting energy infrastructure across the Gulf. We are seeing widespread damage across multiple countries and sectors. There is a real risk of further escalation over the next 24 to 48 hours once the deadline expires, and the economic impact of what has already happened will continue throughout the whole of 2026. So I'll keep you posted on any further news and developments as and when they occur. Hopefully you found today's video useful, informative, and most importantly, thought-provoking, trying to get you to provoke some thoughts. If you have liked what I've said, or maybe you didn't like it but you thought it was interesting, then please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Don't forget, I'm currently running my competition where you can win my property or a cash alternative prize. Scan the QR code on the screen now or click the link in the description below if you'd like to get involved in that. It's another way of funding the channel, hopefully a bit of fun. I also wanted to mention that the latest Joe and Naz video is now live. We went to visit one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants. Our channel's all about fun, food and banter, so hopefully we'll put a smile on your face. Thank you to everyone that supported me in other ways. If you bought me a coffee or sent me a YouTube super thanks or signed up as a patron or a member, thank you so much for that support. Really do appreciate it. Now here's something to put a smile on your face, but if you'd like a longer lasting smile, then please click on the video that's showing in the link and it will take you straight through to that Gordon Ramsay video made by me and Naz.